Thank you so much for watching AM Northwest this morning. If you want to retire soon, how can you tell if you're really ready to do that? Here with helpful information, we welcome back financial planning and consulting specialist David Swanson. Always good to see you, David. So how can we tell if we're really ready? You say there are a lot of mistakes that people make when they're contemplating retiring. So what are some of the things that people fail to do when they're thinking about retiring?
Well, one of the things that people fail in planning for the second half of their life is organizing and looking at all of their income sources. So if you make a mistake on a Social Security claiming strategy, you will never know because you just simply didn't get the income that you should have. If you
They won't tell you.
They're not going to tell you, but they will follow the direction that you give them. And if you say, I want to file for this strategy, that's the plan you're going to get. But maybe you were married before, or maybe your ex has passed away and you're entitled to some additional benefits. So it's important to plan out all of your income strategies.
Because you want to maximize your Social Security
Why wouldn't
benefits,
you?
right?
You definitely, why should you have less if you're entitled to more?
Should you have a plan that you write out?
Absolutely. So not only do you need to look at all of your different options, but a good, solid plan needs to be in writing, and you need to take a look and see what would happen with each contingency, and the plan that you want to follow needs to be in some type of time order. So at this date I will trigger this investment, and at this date I will take this money out, and so you have a coordinated plan to maximize your benefit in retirement.
Do some people end up taking too much risk when it comes to, you know, stocks, bonds, that kind of thing later in life?
When a market that's gone straight up for 10 years, people don't realize that they don't understand what it was like and remember what it was like in 2008.
Right.
But if you get ready to retire and this bull market of 10 years begins to open up and back off a little bit, you may find yourself in a position that you don't have nearly as much resources as you have. So taking too much risk is a big problem, and people just aren't paying attention to that right now.
So how do you help retirees?
So people from this show or people that come to our workshops will contact us, and we will sit down with them and talk about what the hopes and dreams and goals that they have in retirement. We build a model of the things that you want to do, and then we take the resources that you have available, all of your different income sources and the money you've saved for the second half of your life, and figure out how best to use that money to accomplish the things that you want in your second half of your life. Write it all down, and you have a map to look at for 25, 30 years of the rest of your life.
So if you're doing it yourself, what do you need to do?
Well, you need to make sure that you get a second opinion.
Okay.
So you may have it all planned out just perfect, but if you miss one part of the Social Security claiming strategy, or you take money too quickly and you incur a tax that you shouldn't have, you may result in a lower amount of income or less assets to consume during your life or transfer to your loved ones.
Do you need to make sure that you understand the forecast for your income tax? Like, what are you going to be owing in income tax down the road?
Oh, income tax planning is very important because your retirement account and most people's retirement accounts, you have a partner, and that partner is the Internal Revenue Service, and as soon as you touch $1 of your IRA, a traditional IRA, it's going to be taxed, and it'll be taxed as ordinary income, and you need to plan for that because it's not about how much income you're going to receive, it's about how much you get to keep. That's what's important.
And then lastly, you do talk about risk analysis to ensure that you're not overexposing yourself in the stock market, right?
Right. So when you're, for 25, 30, 40 years of your life, you're building assets, you're growing assets, you're waiting for that moment when those assets will carry you for the rest of your life. You need to adjust your focus in the market, your risk that you're taking, because now this money is not about growing anymore, it's about converting it to income. And taking that income out in a regular and safe manner is really what your job is in the second half of your life.
And we're going to touch on this again, but you got to do it in writing. You have to put it down, otherwise it won't happen.
It's not a plan unless it's in writing.
Right.
It's simply an idea.
All right. We have some viewers sent us in some questions for you. So if you don't mind, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, David's going to answer your questions about retirement. Don't go away. Welcome back to AM Northwest. We're talking with David Swanson from Swanson Financial about how to know if you're really ready for retirement. And we're answering your questions now. So let's get to it. First question is, we are about to retire, and while we have saved fairly well for retirement, we're not sure which accounts to draw funds from to maximize our income and reduce our taxes. Can you help us?
Great. So now we organize your assets. We rank the accounts that can generate the most income, the taxable income, the tax-free income, when we figure out in the written plan which accounts to take it from to maximize your income. And this is exactly what a typical person would, the problems a typical person would have heading into retirement.
Right. We've been working with an advisor firm for many years, and now that we're ready to retire, we have asked for a written plan for our future income. But it seems that they're not able or willing to create a retirement plan for us. Can we call you for an analysis of our retirement savings accounts?
Yeah, so this is a second opinion. So people from the show call all the time and say, hey, we think we're on track. Can you help us? Or, you know, our advisor has been really good at building our assets, but he doesn't know anything about how to coordinate Social Security and figure out, can you give us a plan to take the assets that we have and make sure that our pensions and Social Security are helping us to the maximum benefit? And we would do that, yes.
Okay. My partner and I are in our early 60s and wish to retire soon. We have a hodgepodge of retirement savings and need some help in creating a working plan for your future. Can we meet with you directly, or should we attend the free workshop and then make an appointment?
Here's the problem with people that are working is they're busy. And so if you're getting ready to retire, you don't always have the time to go to the workshop.
Right.
So you call, we have evening appointments, we will meet with them and talk with them, absolutely.
And when people go to your seminars and to meet with you about retirement, shouldn't both spouses, if they're married or in a relationship, shouldn't both be there?
Absolutely. I never make an important decision without my wife's okay.
Yeah, well, that's smart. But I mean, in general, like I know how in some relationships one person does the money, the other doesn't, but shouldn't both be there regardless?
This is the rest of the life, so it's got to be together. One may have different ideas, and we want to make sure that a plan is a combination of both of those.
Because you talk about, do you want to spend your senior years traveling, or do you want to just hang out at home? What do you want to do? You need to plan accordingly.
You might be surprised. Some husbands and wives have different ideas on what the rest of their life is going to be like.
No! Say it's not so. Okay, Social Security seems so confusing to us. We're both 65 and working and trying to find a way to retire. Could you help us figure out when would be the best time for us to start Social Security?
Absolutely. If you're working, if you're not, at age 66, you can work and make income and not pay, have a wage penalty before then. There's some rules that you have to follow. That's a very important part of coordinating. But you want to start Social Security and get as most as you can as soon as possible. But if you're working, that may preclude you from doing that. So you need to figure that out.
After 66, can you still work and not worry about having an impact on Social Security?
Unlimited. There's no wage penalty. It's just taxed as income. So.
Right. And then my wife is recently retired and I want to stop working as well, but I'm not sure we will have enough income, so I continue to work. Our current advisor has not made any changes to our accounts in years. Can you review our accounts and give us an opinion to determine if I can retire?
So here's a
He needs
very
to ask his wife first if he should retire.
And then come to the plan. And getting permission from your wife is very important. I got it. So this is very typical, again, of what we would see. People that have had the same advice for a very, very long period of time, and it's gone very well, but now the second half of your life is very different. You're looking about income generation. You have income tax issues. You have legacy planning issues, all the things that maybe your advisor had not really been able to provide for you, because they're really good at growing your assets. But to get to the second part of your life comfortably, you need to find someone to give you some help to do that.
One of the things you've talked about too in the past is how a lot of people, when they retire, just all boom, retire fully. It's a little much of a shock to their system. So maybe take it a little bit at a time, like work part-time and retire part-time.
And a lot of people do that. And retiring and working is not a problem. If you want to work, great. But if you have to work, that's a different story, because you didn't plan things out well enough. So I'm a big advocate of getting all this written down. If you are going to pick the end of this year as my retirement, or it's going to be in 2018, have a plan that says, okay, if I do this, these are the resources that I'm going to use. This is what our income is going to look like. This is how much money we're going to spend. And I'm going to be happy and comfortable that if I want to work, I can, but I don't want to have to go back to work.
Right. All right, all good tips. We're going to put the information on our website, Swanson Financial. You can give them a call, 503-603-9900, and we'll put the information on our website, k2.com.